Every new season of anime, I'm always shocked at the sheer amount of absolutely amazing manga I've never heard of until they ultimately get an adaptation. The Summer Hikaru Died is one of them, and it immediately got under my skin. There's something deeply wrong in this story, and the show doesn't try to hide it. The first episode drops you into a world that feels familiar, then slowly twisted. People smile like nothing's changed, but something, wearing your best friend's face, is looking at you like it's learning how to be human. And then it says, "I don't want to kill you." That was the moment I knew this anime was different. I went into this blind, expecting maybe a ghost story. What I got was a quiet horror full of grief, identity, and dread. This video is my first impression, a look at what's already working, why it feels this disturbing, and what I think might happen next. Something about Hikaru's return immediately feels wrong, and a few people can clearly see it. We only get two clear reactions from adults in episode 1, but both land hard. One is a quiet moment. Hikaru rides his bike past a pastry stand, and the woman shopping there turns to look at him. She doesn't say anything, but the shift in her body language is immediate. She senses something. Her reaction is small, but unmistakably cautious. The second moment is anything but small. Toward the end of the episode, an older woman sees Hikaru up close and panics. She freezes, overwhelmed, and starts to spiral. What follows is a scene full of sharp cuts, warped sound, and surreal body imagery. It's one of the most intense moments of the premiere, and it makes one thing clear. Something about Hikaru is deeply wrong, and the people who can sense it don't know how to process it. This is what the show leans into: recognition without explanation. People notice something is off, they just don't say it. That silence is what makes everything worse, a quiet tension that hangs over every scene Hikaru is in. The world around him continues moving like nothing happened, but underneath that rhythm is something fractured. Yoshiki is the only one who says it out loud. "You're not Hikaru, are you?" That line lands early without hesitation. He doesn't dance around it, he asks and gets an honest answer in return. The conversation ends quickly, but it leaves a weight that hangs over everything that follows. We don't know yet how others will respond, but in that moment, the tension shifts. It's no longer about figuring out what's wrong, it's about what Yoshiki does now that he knows. Hey there, looks like you've been caught in Dio Stan the World. While time's frozen, don't forget to leave a like, drop a comment, and subscribe so you never miss any future content. Alright, time's up, back to the video. Very early in the episode, Yoshiki says it plainly: "You're not Hikaru, are you?" And the thing pretending to be Hikaru admits it. There's no struggle or mystery, just the fact that something came back wearing his friend's face. What matters is how Yoshiki responds. He doesn't panic or tell anyone, he accepts it, or at least decides to live with it. That choice is the most unnerving part of the entire episode. Yoshiki understands exactly what he's dealing with. He sees the way Hikaru moves too carefully. He feels how off the energy is, but the version of Hikaru standing next to him still remembers everything. His habits, his voice, the kind of snacks he liked, and Yoshiki would rather hold on to that than lose him again. There's a similar emotional pull in Parasite when Shinichi loses parts of his humanity and the people around him start noticing the difference. But while Parasite pushes towards survival and control, the Summer Hikaru Died stays locked in emotional denial. Yoshiki isn't fighting the thing next to him, he's trying to justify being near it. That emotional confusion adds to the horror. He's not paralyzed by fear, he's paralyzed by what this thing represents. It's grief with a pulse. The more time they spend together, the harder it becomes to draw a line between memory and reality. There's a dream scene where Yoshiki sees the real Hikaru again, loud, alive, unmistakable, and then he wakes up. And there's this new version of him, sitting quietly like he belongs. Yoshiki isn't looking for answers, he just doesn't want to lose his friend again. That conscious choice to accept something false just because it looks right is where the story cuts the deepest. Yoshiki isn't searching for answers right now, he's holding on to what's left. Whether it's grief, guilt, or something harder to name, he chooses to stay close. After watching episode 1, I walked away with more questions than answers, but that's exactly the point. This isn't a horror story that hands you the rules, it shows you the edges of something wrong and lets your imagination fill the rest. And based on how the episode is paced, I think that sense of unease is only going to grow. Based on what I've seen, the first episode has only adapted the first 2 chapters. That tells me this series is going to be deliberate, slow, focused, and careful not to reveal too much too fast. I don't expect big exposition dumps or major reveals early on. I expect tension, build-up, and a steady unraveling of characters who are already breaking down. So where is this all heading? The most immediate prediction is about Hikaru. What is he? There's no obvious answer yet, and I don't think we'll get one for a while. He could be something supernatural like a spirit or a yokai, or something more abstract like a creature that mimics memory. The fact that he isn't just repeating Hikaru's habits but learning from Yoshiki suggests that we're looking at something adaptive, something that builds itself based on the emotions around it. That alone is dangerous, and if I had to guess, that danger will slowly escalate, not initially through violence, but through intimacy. I think the new Hikaru will continue to develop emotional responses, and not all of them will be predictable. He might grow possessive, he might misunderstand what love is, and he might start shaping his identity in ways that reflect what Yoshiki wants to see, not who Hikaru actually was. Which leads to my next theory: Yoshiki is going to lose track of what's real. He already knows that this thing isn't his friend, but the longer they spend together, the more blurred that line becomes. He dreams about the real Hikaru and wakes up to this version who says the right things and stays close. If that illusion continues, Yoshiki might start rewriting his own memories to match. This won't be a story about someone being tricked, it'll be a story about someone choosing the lie because the truth hurts more. I think we'll see Yoshiki isolate himself even further, stop confiding in others, stop trusting the people around him until he's built a world where only he and Hikaru exist. The town is another piece I don't think we should ignore. The final scene with the older woman hints that this isn't the first strange thing to happen there. This town has a history. Maybe others have gone missing and come back wrong. Maybe there are quiet rules being followed, rules about what you can acknowledge and what you pretend not to see. The way people react to Hikaru is telling. They accept his presence too easily, and I think we're going to find out that the town has made compromises of its own, that other people are living alongside versions of things they've lost and no one's willing to talk about it. I also expect that Hikaru isn't done changing. Right now he's still mostly a copy, but if he keeps learning, he'll become something else entirely, something less predictable. I won't be surprised if we start seeing him act out emotionally, violently, or even protectively, depending on how close he feels to Yoshiki. And when that change finally happens, Yoshiki will have to make a decision, hold on to the version he's grown attached to, or finally let go. I don't think this will end with a fight. I don't see a climactic battle or sudden exorcism, but we've already seen signs that someone is watching. That scene with the possessed dinner table shows there's an organization out there quietly managing or monitoring the supernatural. So while Yoshiki's story feels deeply personal, it's unfolding in a world where things like this are known, managed, erased, and that means time is running out. Eventually something will force his hand, whether it's the outside group stepping in or Hikaru changing into something unpredictable. Yoshiki will have to decide whether to protect what he has or finally let it go. This story is building toward a fracture, and when it breaks, no one will be able to pretend things are normal anymore. The Summer Hikaru Died starts with quiet tension, then slowly unravels everything you thought was normal. From the very first scene, something feels off, and the more time you spend with it, the deeper that feeling gets. I went into this one out of curiosity, expecting something eerie. What I found was a story that feels heavy from the start. Nothing about it feels safe or settled. The tension sits beneath every conversation, every stare, every long pause, and once the episode starts, it doesn't let go. This first episode works because it doesn't try to explain everything. It sets the tone, asks a question, and leaves you with just enough to wonder what's waiting underneath. That sense of unease is coming from what's held back. There's a slow build here, one shaped by grief, memory, and identity. Even now, it feels like Yoshiki is already caught in something he can't fully name, and that emotional weight is what makes the show so effective. We also get a glimpse that something else is at work in this world. The scene with the possessed dinner table doesn't just add to the atmosphere, it opens the door to something bigger. It suggests that this phenomenon isn't limited to Yoshiki and Hikaru, that something out there is watching, interfering, or quietly cleaning up what shouldn't exist. I'll be watching this series closely. If it keeps building with this kind of control, The Summer Hikaru Died could easily become one of the most emotionally layered and quietly unsettling anime of the year. Catch you in the next one.